FrameMaker is a very powerful program. And a great way to see what FrameMaker might do for you and your environment is to look at the way that I use FrameMaker to produce a series of FrameMaker reference and workbooks. In this case, this is my FrameMaker 2017 reference book. This PDF is created entirely in FrameMaker, including all of the nested bookmarks over here. And it's one of 2 PDFs that I produce from this material. This one gets sold online. The other PDF is actually submitted to the print company and used in print production of the book. There's lots of ways you can navigate through the book. You can go through the bookmarks, and then you can go to individual items, or you can go from the bookmarks, and then within the text itself, many of these links, if not all of them, will have web links associated with them. So you can jump right out of the PDF over into a browser to the source of that content. Switching over into FrameMaker, you can see that I've got my book opened, and all of the chapters or the files related to the book are all collected. I can use this for navigation. In this case, I can open up the workflow document, which was already opened in a tab here, but this gives me another way to navigate there. I can also go to the table of contents. In the TOC, I can use a key combination, in this case Control-Alt, to come in and jump to the source of any location within the table of contents. In this case, I've navigated to the 103 new doc file and then to a specific location within that document. Inside of any of the chapter files, I've added what's called a mini TOC. And the mini TOC likewise allows me to navigate to any specific place within the TOC itself. In this case, using a file as a template jumps directly to that source. But easy navigation for the author is not really what makes FrameMaker powerful. The real strength in FrameMaker comes in its ability to work with very long, complex documents, and its ability to help you create the content and then keep track of all the references and the numbering that you've got within your doc. Couple that with tables and graphics capabilities, you've got a real workhorse that you can use to produce your own long documents that you can rely on year after year. Looking again at the book file, we have about 520 pages of content in this book, but those files are broken up into something like 30 different chapter files. Each file is its own unit, so you don't have to be working with the whole thing at one time. And in this case, we have 4 documents open, which allow me to just get to the things that I need without having to shuffle past everything that I'm not interested in right now. You notice different colors also within the book. These orange files are generated files, and the content of those files is generated somewhat automatically when we update a book. You'll also notice this file down here, my chapter template, is red. And that's because I've excluded this file from generating as part of the book. So I have it there to reference the material, but it's not going to be included in the PDF, nor in the page count, nor in the table of contents. Basically, the book file is a great way to segment your content into smaller chunks and then collect it, and then to string together all of the numbering and referencing needed to help those chapter files work together. Moving over into the chapter. This book contains unstructured content. And if we break that phrase unstructured down a little bit, basically this document consists of a series of paragraphs and other objects. Here, I will view my text symbols to show you what I mean. Each paragraph has its own style, and those styles are collected into the paragraph catalog. This is similar to how just about every word processor works, including Microsoft Word. In this case, I'm just using the straight Microsoft Word template, and I've created a couple of paragraphs, a heading 1, a heading 2, and a normal paragraph, and these all conform to the paragraph styles that are collected up here. In this last example, I've taken normal and then applied italic to it using the Control-I feature, and that creates a style that we call Normal Plus, which is normal plus additional formatting. It's that ad hoc formatting that FrameMaker helps you stay away from a little bit more consistently than Microsoft Word. Switching back to FrameMaker, we'll just walk through a couple of things in a typical chapter of one of my books. In the chapter title paragraph, which I can see has been applied down here, I have automatic numbering, automatically placing chapter 2: space before my actual chapter title. Along with that auto numbering string is the pagination, where this paragraph should appear within the document, in this case at the top of the page and outside of the normal column area, and many other details controlling how the text itself is formatted. Over time, I've streamlined all of these formats into a working system that allows me to quickly enter and quickly update content across not only my entire book, but across a collection of books. Here are a couple of other things that I really like about my own personal system for producing books with FrameMaker. Moving down into the document, I have various headings, in this case a heading 1, and then I also have material like this, which I call a warning note or caution. In this case, my template, and specifically this paragraph format, allows me to rapidly format this content from a regular paragraph into the warning note or caution that you're viewing. I'll show you by converting it back to a regular body paragraph. As you can see, the text that exists within that note is just a regular paragraph of text. It's only when we apply a formatting style that this content stands out in the way that we would like. FrameMaker also makes it very easy to add graphics into your work. In this case, the graphic inside this anchored frame is sitting in the default FrameMaker position. It's below the current baseline where I placed it, and it's centered on the column. But there are lots of times in my books that I don't want this default position. If we come down a couple of pages, you can see that if I put this graphic centered below the column, I would have a lot of white space on each side. In this case, I've added something which is called an object style to rapidly move the graphic from its default position into this position on the side of the column and allow the text to flow alongside. I'll show you how easily I can change from the current position to the default position and then back to the original position. Other graphics require different handling. In this case, I've placed an icon for the new document and I've placed it in line with the rest of the text. And of course, there are lots of other things that we can place into the document other than graphics and paragraphs. We've got character styles and formatting that we can apply. We've got graphics and multimedia. And then we can take all of this material and all of the settings that we have working for one project, and we can store that inside of a template. And that template allows us to work with multiple documents and to manage multiple projects. In this case, my FrameMaker reference book, along with a structured FrameMaker authoring workbook and a structured EDD development workbook, all published for FrameMaker 2017, use the same size, the same formats, and the same styles, numbering, which allow me to produce and manage all of this content without chasing around after formatting changes within the docs themselves. You get more details about the template file that I use in a later lesson. But here is the actual file itself, and it's really not much to look at. This document has a lot of things that I will use for reference and for testing. The most important thing about the template file itself is that it holds the definitions of all of my formatting. And that gives me one place to go to update my formatting. And then from there, I can roll this across any and all projects that conform to this template.